Hello, and thank you for joining us for our as yet untitled podcast.
I am Jake,
And I'm Chris.
and we still have no idea what we're doing.
Still don't. So, in the vein of having no idea what we're doing, we also have no idea what we're going to call this podcast. But we want you to know that we are working on it. We have a few ideas. If you want to give us feedback, that'd be great. Um,
It's almost like we built a form or something
we
that
did
people
build,
can fill out if they have opinions.
if you have an opinion and you want a form to fill out, if that's something you're interested in, just visit bit.ly/CJ tell us right there in the chat. Right there in the chat.
Also in my chat.
Both chats. And you can tell us what you think. You can send us ideas. You can give us criticism. You can say mean things at us.
I'd prefer that.
Yeah.
Tear us down. We're too happy.
Mm-hmm. Too confident.
I excel at being negative. I need more reinforcement.
So we're considering a few names, and there may be more in the future. But what we're thinking about right now, you let us know what you think. We've got Zero Sum, Brain Brine, The Trash Barge, as we mentioned in our first podcast,
Wah wah.
or Midlife Niceness. That's what's on the table. So,
Should we give any backgrounds to those names, Chris, or our reasoning, or do we want to leave people questioning?
it's probably worth having a. We'll give you the quick, down and dirty rundown. Zero Sum. That's derived from Zero Sum Game. That's a competition in which one person's gain and one person's loss equal out. Essentially saying we're competing, which is a kind of new direction we're hoping to take this podcast in. So also zero is the coolest number, so it sounds cool.
For sure. And we'll touch on that too after we talk about the names, the sort of reformatting of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We also were thinking about using brain brine, which was an attempt to add some sort of cooking terminology into the title. And if y'all don't know, brining typically is putting things in salt water for a long period of time. And the idea is that if you listen to our podcast, your brain gets marinated with our wonderful genius. And so that's how we came up with brain brine.
Perfect, right? Uh, and then we're also considering the trash barge, which, you know, brings up an image of a floating boat filled with a bunch of random garbage, which is kind of what we're doing so far. Bunch of random garbage.
I do think the trash barge has a great potential for logos. You know, like a cartoon barge full of trash, and like you and I are just swimming in it
Yeah, we could be swimming in garbage. I
on a
mean,
boat.
we spout enough of it, so
Right.
right
Um,
on.
so the last one we had was midlife niceness as a potential. This title doesn't have a whole lot of meaning other than we felt like it sounded really positive and interesting, and we were hoping people would be like, "Well, what the heck does that mean?" Um, and although Chris and I are not really in midlife, you can always be nice.
Exactly. Exactly. So, there you have it. Zero Sum, Brain Brine, The Trash Barge, Midlife Niceness. If you want to let us know what you think, visit that link, bit.ly/CJ tell us, and you can leave us your feedback there. Or, just
Put it in chat.
sound off in the chat, all one of you.
Yes, exactly. Um, one other thing I think it's worth mentioning, Chris, that you alluded to, is I think we're going to take the podcast in a direction of each segment is kind of a game, where we have winners, but nothing where the points don't matter. Basically, it's just keep things friendly, competitive, and eventually we'll have sound effects and all kinds of fun things to make it even more entertaining.
Absolutely. That's the goal. Um, so, yeah, new direction, new podcast. Hope you like it. You
And
wanna get
hopefully a new
started?
name.
Yes. Chosen by you, the viewer.
If you actually fill out feedback. All right. So, segment of which I just want to call out, since we just mentioned we're changing the format, that first intro segment, Chris officially won. So he has 1 point as of right now in the podcast. It is 1-0. Chris is winning. So segment number 2 is our, can I call it classic already? It's only the second time we've ever done it. Spot the fake quote segment. This is a segment we started last week that we had a blast with. The general idea for those of you that are listening for the first time is that both Chris and I picked quotes, and then we intentionally altered it to have 2 versions that are wrong. And the other person has to guess which one is accurate depending on what it's about. And we're going to keep track and declare a winner of the segment.
Keep track. Declare a winner.
Yes. Yes. So, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first, sir?
You know, I'll start it off. That's
all right. Fine. I apologize ahead of time.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I'm sorry for the whole podcast, and sorry to you.
Well, I'm not sorry.
And those are our characters. I'm apologetic, and he's remorseless.
I don't know about that. I'm ruthless. Ruthless competitor.
Yeah. This is serious business. This is serious business. There's real stakes.
Oh, really? I'm hungry.
That being said, yes. Real stakes. They're waiting for you in the mail. First quote is being pulled from a favorite of mine and yours, the Dark Tower series.
Oh my gosh. I almost picked a quote from the Dark Tower series. That is so crazy. I almost did, but I didn't. I couldn't find it.
I'm glad it worked out. This time around, I chose the character I wanted to quote, and then found something that I like, because I wanted to quote Eddie Dean.
Yeah.
Eddie Dean, the ex-heroin addict turned gunslinger, good buddy of main character Roland.
Roland Deshawn coming to save the day with an eagle on his, or not an eagle, a hawk on his shoulder.
All right. So I'm familiar with the book. You're familiar with the book. It's, for those not familiar with the books, they're hard to describe. So just read them. They're amazing.
Yeah, they're super well written. Highly encourage everyone reads them.
Western meets medieval fantasy meets dimension hopping, brain warping, time traveling madness. So
do not watch the movie. The movie was garbage.
Oh. We'll see how the upcoming TV series turns out. So Eddie Dean, book number 7, The Dark Tower. At one point, here are your quote options. I'm just going to give you the quotes.
Okay.
Does he say, which one sounds more Eddie? Does he say, sometimes I think we'd all be better off if the people who mean well would just creep away and die? Or, sometimes I think we'd all be better off if the people who act in our best interests would just jump off a cliff? Or, sometimes I think we'd all be better off if the people who try to help strangers would just piss off already?
Okay, so knowing the characters, knowing Eddie, and what's the lady's name? The badass lady, the Eddie. Is it Susanna?
Yeah.
They both are pretty vulgar, if I remember correctly. So I'm gonna go with option number 3, just because of the word piss.
I trapped you.
You did trap me. Okay, which one was it?
It's number 1. If the people who mean well would just creep away and die.
Very good. Very good. Oh man, I'm like excited just thinking about those books. There's some really, really awesome artwork out there, and they even did a comic book series about Roland Deshawn. That's just so cool. He's basically, for those of you that are into Western-y stuff, he's basically the man with no name. I mean, it's what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how do you want to do this, Chris? Do we want to go back and forth? We each do one? Okay.
Yeah. Let's go back and forth.
All right, so I did not get a point there. So Chris is still up 1-0. Okay, so I picked something extremely iconic that I have a strong feeling that everyone has heard of, Um, and if you haven't, I'm sorry. You should go read it ASAP. This is a quote from Calvin and Hobbes, something that I grew up literally before I could read. My sister was reading Calvin and Hobbes to me. So I picked my all-time favorite It Builds Character saying, but I'm going to give you, there were multiple strips that had the It Builds Character in it. So I'm going to describe to you a particular situation, Chris. And it's a conversation between Calvin and his dad. And for those of you that don't know, Calvin is like a 6-year-old who has an imaginary tiger, but in his mind, his tiger is real. And that's kind of the premise of the comic strip. Okay, so here's the situation. Calvin's parents took him on a long drive, and they're camping, okay? And they just got off a boat, and Calvin is just not pleased with the situation. Mm-hmm. And so here's the strip. Calvin's dad says, bug bites build character. And Calvin says, yeah, and last year you said diarrhea builds character. His dad says, so think what a fine young man you're growing up to be. And Calvin says, if all this character doesn't kill me first. It's option number 1. Number 2, Calvin's dad, being cold builds character. Calvin, yeah, and last year you said diarrhea builds character. His dad, so think about what a great young man you're growing up to be. Calvin, if all this character doesn't kill me first. Option 3, his dad says, being miserable builds character. Calvin says, yeah, and last year you said diarrhea builds character. His dad responds with, so think what a refined young man you're growing up to be. Calvin says, if all this character doesn't kill me first. So there's certain keywords. If you want me to go over those quickly, I can.
Get you a bug bite, cold, miserable.
And then also fine, great, and refined.
Yeah. Oh boy. Which one sounds the most Calvin and Hobbesy?
All of them.
What's that?
I said all of them.
Yeah. My first instinct was bug bite, great, but I think instead I'm gonna go with being miserable builds character. So just think what a refined young man you're growing up to be.
You fell for my trap. Yes. You should have went for your gut feeling. So it was bug bites build character and what a fine young man you're going to be. Yeah.
But
woo! Yes. I love this game. Okay, we're both swinging missing.
Just so you know, in my chat here, in response to my sister was reading Calvin and Hobbes to me before I could read, your sister says, dang right I was.
That's right, she was. Just real quick, digress. I remember Rachel and I, my sister, we'd lay on the floor, and I was playing with a mirror because for some reason I thought mirrors were really interesting, and she would just sit next to me and read Calvin and Hobbes, but she would make different voices because I didn't know how to read, and that's what I really liked is the different voices.
That sounds magical.
It was. Thank you, Rachel, for the magical memories.
You know, one of these days I'm going to sit and play with a mirror and listen to her do voices.
Hashtag wholesome. Yeah. Hashtag.
Right on. All right, well, let's do round 2, eh?
Yes.
Okay. So for round 2, I'm going with another pretty well-known property, The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis.
Okay, classic.
Specifically the book The Silver Chair.
It has been a long time, man. I don't remember anything other than...
Specifically the character, Puddleglum.
Okay.
Sound more familiar?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Puddleglum is a marsh wiggle, who's a species obviously invented for the book. I mean, unless you guys know any marsh wiggles. I think they're fictional. Apparently, most marsh wiggles are even more depressed than he is, which is pretty funny because he's a sad sack through the whole book. That's basically his character. He's a wet blanket.
Is he me?
He's all of us.
He's all of our internal. Yes.
Yeah.
Do the doors sigh sadly whenever he walks through one? Ah, ah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's Marvin the paranoid android, but C.S. Lewis Narnia version.
I like it.
Uh, and this one, again, without context, because all of his lines, I mean, he's Puddleglum. Which one of these is an authentic Puddleglum quote?
Okay, I'm ready.
Is it life isn't all broiled tadpoles and cuttlefish tarts? Is it life isn't all sautéed snails and crab cakes? Or is it life isn't all fricasseed frogs and eel pie?
Okay, I'm gonna go with my gut because we both seem to not go with our gut and lose. I'm gonna go with the one that where you mentioned tart because C.S. Lewis is British.
All right. Yep, that's trap number 2.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop going with the obvious answer, Jake. That's the
That was by far the hardest of the 3. That was my Insta-Chad Facegram
yes, the
question.
Bill Belichick quote from last week. So awesome.
The actual quote is life isn't all fricasseed frogs and eel pie.
That is very C.S. Lewis way of writing. I love it. Got it. So it's still 1-0 Chris here. Moving on to the second round for Chris here. My quote is from a series of books called Gotrek and Felix. Are you familiar with those at all, Chris? I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Is
that Warhammer?
Yes,
book?
it is Warhammer series. I'm just gonna do a quick synopsis copied from Wikipedia here,
Gotcha.
and it's a series of short stories into big books called omnibuses, and there's 3 omnibuses. Okay, so the novels chronicle the adventures of a dwarven slayer named Gotrek and his poet instructionalist companion, Felix. As a slayer, Gotrek seeks a glorious death in battle to atone for his unknown sins, and Felix is bound to him by a dwarven blood oath sworn after a drinking binge, and is tasked with writing and recording Gotrek's heroic adventures and ultimately his death. So basically, you've got this crazy badass dwarf who is seeking death in battle, and his human companion Felix, who is a poet and also a badass swordsman, but is basically writing everything down and their adventures throughout it. Okay,
So why did I never read these books?
You-
I
they're-
remember you reading them.
they're so good. They're I'll send one from Texas.
What's wrong with me? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So here's the context. The context is the short story called Troll Slayer, and they're going along on their adventures, just traveling wherever from town to town, and they come across an inn, and it's late at night, and Felix suggests to Gotrek that it's getting late, we might as well grab a bed for the night. And so here's similar to my other one. It's a little bit of a conversation between Gotrek and Felix. So Felix had suggested, let's stop in at the inn. And Gottschrick's response was, "You are feeble, manling, cowardly too." Felix says, "They have ale." And Gottschrick goes, "On the other hand, some of your suggestions are not without merit." Option number 2, Gottschrick, "You're a weakling, man scum, a deserter too." Felix, "They'll have beer." Gottschrick, "On the other hand, some of your suggestions are not without merit." Option 3, Gottschrick, "You have less strength than female dwarves, man flesh. Dastardly, too." Felix, "They'll have whiskey." Gottschrick, "On the other hand, some of your suggestions are not without merit." Do you need me to give a summary? So, feeble manling, and cowardly, too. Ale. Option 2 is weakling, man scum, deserter, and beer. Option 3 is less strength than a female dwarf, man flesh, dastardly, and whiskey.
Oh boy.
That one's really hard, especially if you haven't read it.
Oh boy. Okay. So I feel like one of these is probably a trap again. That seems to be the theme of the night. I think Felix is a feeble manling, and they will have a ale. It was ale, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got it right, Chris. Yeah. Sorry, I bumped my mic.
I wanted to say weaker than a female dwarf, you dastardly man flesh.
All right. Chris, again, extends his lead 2-0. I'm getting smoked.
Only because you are the judge and jury on who wins the introductions round.
That's right. Remember, I'm the forceful one.
Right on.
Oh, okay. I love this segment, Chris. This is so great.
So your final spot the fake quote here is from a property that I'm pretty sure you're not familiar with, but I think it'll also maybe be the easiest of the three.
Okay.
We'll see. Okay, so have you heard of the show Red Dwarf?
Nope.
Okay, I didn't think so. It is an old British science fiction comedy series about the life and times of a crewman on a spaceship who, if I remember correctly, was put in some kind of cryostasis and slept for a long time and woke up with everyone on the ship dead.
That sounds like a million movies.
Except for a holographic version of the most annoying other crewman on the ship.
Awesome.
Who happened to be the last one who was recorded. And so he's being represented by an artificial intelligence and is his only companion on the ship.
Okay.
Eventually, other characters are introduced. Main character, Lister, is kind of a down-to-earth everyman, and his annoying buddy, Arnold Rimmer, is a very obnoxious, snobby, self-centered kind of jerk face.
So me and you, basically.
But who's who?
I'm the jerk face, clearly.
You're not supposed to answer it. You're supposed to let him guess.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So, and the plots are all over the place. It's super corny.
Yeah.
It's super British.
I love British humor, though. So
yeah.
Okay.
British humor. That's what it is. So, the scene. I don't remember the scene.
That's okay. I understand the context.
Yeah. Okay. So, the quote is Rimmer, the obnoxious.
Okay, the obnoxious crew member. Mm-hmm.
So he says, "I've seen westerns. I know how to speak cowboy." And he steps up to a bar to order something that a cowboy would order. So what does he order? What is his line? Does he say, "I'll have a sarsaparilla and a big hat, please"?
Sarsaparilla. Okay.
Does he say, "I'll have a cheeseburger and a Diet Coke, please"? Or does he say, "A dry white wine and a Perrier, please"?
What is his background? I mean, I'm assuming he's British, right?
Yes, they're all British. Yeah, he's he's another. What is his exact position on the ship?
It's okay. I was just fishing.
Second-class technician.
Oh, man, I don't know. I feel like it would be very British to make the cheeseburger joke because, Americans and cowboys. But what is giving me a red flag isn't the cheeseburger, but the Diet Coke. What was option number one?
Sarsaparilla and a big hat, please.
All right, Chris. I'm going to go with the sarsaparilla and a big hat.
I'm sorry, Jake. It's not sarsaparilla and a big hat.
What was it?
It's not cheeseburger and a Diet Coke. It is a dry white wine and a Perrier.
Yep, would not have guessed that one. That would be 3 strikes, and I am out for this segment. All right.
It's all right.
Fail on the quote segment by me. All right, so your last section of the spot the fake quote for you is going to be the easiest one, I think. Okay. So this is from the Sword of Truth series, and this is the Wizard's 5th rule. For those of you that don't know, In the Sword of Truth series, I'm just going to be reading from Wikipedia. There is a set of rules or guidelines called the Wizard's Rules, and each of the books, a new rule is introduced. And the book's plot and somewhat revolves around the rules, though it doesn't necessarily have to. And fun fact, as of August 2020, there are 14 rules total, but only 11 of them have been named. So,
Okay. Fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact. So, which one of these is the correct Wizard's 5th rule?
Now, are you going to give me all real rules and I just have to decide which one's the 5th?
No, I thought about doing that originally, but that'd be just impossible unless I did Wizard's first rule, because we already know that one. Okay, so option 1, mind how people act, not only what they claim, for action will betray a lie. Option 2, mind what people do, not only what they assert, for behavior will betray a lie. Option number 3, mind what people do, not only what they say, for deeds will betray a lie.
I can't think on this too long, but that's really hard. What was the first one again?
So option 1 was mind how people act, not only what they claim, for action will betray a lie.
Okay.
Pretty powerful Wizard's 5th rule, man.
It is. It is. Actions speak louder than words.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. This gut, which I have not trusted in the past, is telling me option number 3.
Final answer?
Yes.
That's correct. Boom! Boom. This is where, in the podcast, once we're actually set up, we'll play victory noises and stuff. Wah, wah, wah. Chris got it right. Very good, sir. Very good.
Pixelated sunglasses.
Yes, yes.
Excellent. That was a blast.
I love that segment, man. That is...
That's it.
I'm going to have to do once we're more set up, I'll have to do it like a YouTube cutout of just the quote segments for like an hour straight.
That would be fun. Yeah, that'd be a very fun highlight. Right on. So, we're on to our next segment, and we've got another game. This isn't going to be all games, but that's where we're headed. This is the direction we're headed in. This is another one-episode classic. Everyone's favorite. Name the game!
Name the game.
We've taken the little mini game we played last episode, in which we described a character and tried to guess who the character from a video game was, and expanded it into a new and improved full segment edition, Name the Game, in which we will be providing 3 games, descriptions if necessary, and then we'll list off characters and guess which of the 3 games they are from.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So those of you that are gamers, get your pens out, start keeping track, see if you can catch up. Just for summary, Chris is winning 3-0 at the moment. So
Are we counting each individual answer as a point or a segment?
When there's multiple, yes. When it's just a generic segment, like where we're discussing something, that's just 1 point.
Well, you know what works out in my favor this time, so I'll take it.
Yeah. That's right. We'll have to keep a record, an all-time record.
So, just be aware that this is a work in progress, and we haven't discussed our questions or games or anything, so...
We are going in blind.
Yeah, if the format is a little different or the questions are a little different, then that is just a great opportunity for you to visit bit.ly/CJTellus and let us know which version you like better. And if they're exactly the same, visit anyways. And
right.
just let us know what you think in general.
And tell us how bad the segments are and how sad it is that Jake's losing.
It is sad. It's making me sad. So, who wants to start? Should I start?
Who
You
did
want to start?
why don't you start? Because I did the last one of the spot the fake quote.
Okay, just keep that alternation going on. Sounds good. Okay, so my 3 games. We're doing a space theme for this episode, if that
Space
matters.
themed games, which, just for clarity for the gamers out there, it can be any sort of game, just space themed.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty vague. So the games that I've chosen are Dead Space
All
from the
right.
year 2008, Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time from 2009, and Doom, the 2016 version.
Oh, my favorite Doom.
It's an excellent Doom.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So very brief, very brief descriptions of the games because they're all pretty well known games. Um, Dead Space is a science fiction horror game, um, third person shooter where you arrive on a spaceship that has been taken over by monsters called necromorphs. They kill everyone. You try not to die. Scary, scary jump scares. There's robots. There's lasers. There's weird baby head monsters. It's a good time. Ratchet and Clank is a very well established platformer series. One of the flagship properties, PlayStation as a platform. Uh, Ratchet is a Lombax, a little fox-like creature. Clank is a robot, and they go on adventures. They smash stuff. They shoot stuff.
What
It's
year is
cool.
that from?
A Crack in Time, the game I'm referencing specifically, is from the year 2009. But the first Ratchet and Clank game, that was a while ago. Crack in Time is like the 7th, I think, game.
I can't believe I haven't played that before.
I've only played a couple of them, and not all of it. I was more of a Jack and Daxter kid.
Right. Hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
Okay. What is option number 3?
Option number 3 is Doom 2016.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
You are Doom guy. You're on Mars. Hell is on Mars. You're killing demons from hell.
Which I thought, for transparency, I thought the storyline in Doom 2016 was so interesting. If the new Doom didn't get such bad reviews, I would actually consider buying it. But
Right. Yeah, it was sad to see that happen.
For sure.
Doom 2016 was fantastic.
All right.
So, those are your games. You know the games.
Ratchet and Clank, Dead Space, and Doom 2016. Okay.
Right. Let me pull up my character list here. I've got too many windows open, Jake.
And just to remind everyone what's going to happen here, now that Chris told me the games, I'm going to guess which character goes with which game, and we are very intentionally, for the most part, avoiding main characters because we don't want it to be that easy.
Exactly. So, and okay. I may not have made this as difficult as you did. I may have made it more difficult. I don't know. We'll see how this turns out.
Okay.
Your first character, and I'm going to give you the names.
Okay.
Your first character is Samuel Hayden. All right. That's the name. He is the chairman of the UAC, which is the Union Aerospace Corporation. He is a cyborg. He has a big old robot body, but a human brain.
Man, it's
He's
like
a
you're
cool
talking
looking
about
cyborg.
me again.
Right? Yeah. He is brilliant. He is very scientifically accomplished. He was put in his robot body because, I mean, why else would you be put in a robot body? He was dying of brain cancer. So
Got it.
that's all I'm going to give you.
Doom.
You are correct.
Woo! I'm on the scoreboard. Wah, wah, wah.
There you go. Right on. Your second character. There are 3. Your second character is Olivia Pierce. Do you already know?
Mm-mm.
Good. Okay. Good. How much of this description can I give you without?
Yeah, it's
immediately-
stuff. Omit stuff. Omit stuff if you feel like it. Yeah.
Yeah. She is a high-ranking individual.
Okay.
She is a turncoat. She is turned over to the bad side of the game.
What's her name again?
Olivia Pierce.
Olivia Pierce.
I can't give you too many details here. She suffered from scoliosis.
Okay. So, one question about the game. Is it one character per game, or is it potentially all characters from the same game? Or we don't know.
There's no telling.
I genuinely do not know this one. I really don't.
About she's got white hair. She looks very angry.
I'm going to just take a guess. I'm going to say Dead Space.
Okay. If I had given you any real description, you would have got it. Nah, she's from Doom also.
Got it. Okay.
She's actually Samuel Hayden's protege. No.
I just don't remember.
Well, hey. Hopefully you'll get this third one. I think you will.
Okay.
I think it'll be pretty obvious. Your third character is Captain Quark.
Captain Quark?
Captain Quark.
Okay.
That is spelled Qwark.
Qwark. Okay.
He initially is a villain, but ends up being generally on the team of the good guys. He's a very, think Mr. Incredible, like tiny legs, super torso man.
Okay.
Very, very action hero style character. Green and black spandex and an antenna on his head.
Okay, so definitely not Doom. I'm going to guess Ratchet and Clank, because Dead Space is pretty serious.
This is correct. He is from Ratchet and Clank. Yeah.
All right. I'll take it.
Right.
I'm still losing by 1. 3-2. Chris is up.
All right. Well, let's see how this goes.
Okay, so admittedly, I made mine harder.
That's
So I apologize ahead of time. So, my 3 space-themed games that I chose are The Outer Wilds, Borderlands, and Mass Effect Andromeda.
okay.
For those of you that don't know, let me just go over those really quick. I'm just going to read from Wikipedia. The Outer Wilds is an action-adventure game. The game features a character exploring a solar system stuck in a 22-minute time loop. Okay?
That sounds interesting. Okay.
Borderlands is a first-person shooter. Basically, you run around shooting bad guys and collecting guns.
It's a loot simulator.
Yeah, basically, yeah, a loot simulator is a great way of saying that. Mass Effect Andromeda is an action role-playing game. It was super, super good. I played it. It's set within the Andromeda Galaxy during the 29th century, where humanity is planning to populate new homeworlds as part of a strategy. And you basically play a storyline, and you have a ship, and you can fly around and do all kinds of quests and cool stuff. Cool?
Cool. I'm familiar with Borderlands and Mass Effect, so Outer Wilds will be the wild card, which is appropriate.
All right. And again, there's no guarantee that there's a character from every game. So, character number 1, I am going to give you the name. I hesitate to, but I'm going to anyways. The name is 3G0-TP. And this character is an internal representation of another character's mind. And he is a relatively small, robot-ish character that is very nervous and only wants the representation of himself to feel better about themselves. However, he gets a single mission to collect various trophies based on happy events in his life. But it backfires, and he just gets super egotistical and starts bragging about himself a ton. And then basically has to get a reality check later on. So again, the character's name is 3G0-TP. Which game is it from? I feel like the name gives it away a little bit.
I think the name gives it away a little bit. 3G0, that's Ego, that is a robot with a clever little leet speak name. I think that's probably Borderlands.
It is 100% Borderlands. Very good, very good.
Sounds that sounds fun.
Yeah, like whereas if I
Oh,
wouldn't have said the name, I don't know that you would have.
I might have though. I mean,
It's pretty
the
hard.
quest, the inner mind representation robot who becomes egotistical needs to be shot. That sounds very Borderlandsy.
Right, and guess who that character is, and which character is mine?
Based on the fact that he is a robot-like and strokes the character's ego, I'm gonna say maybe Claptrap.
It is. That's exactly right. Very good.
Right now.
Okay. Option number 2. I'm gonna omit the name because I think it just gives too much away. This character is an astronomer who is both knowledgeable and enthusiastic about their work. They focus their workings on the universe and are very devoted to their job. And one of their comments, and this is a quote from them, is, "Sometimes I think I'm the only traveler out here interested in doing any science at all." They are non-human.
Okay. Sometimes I think,
Sometimes I think I'm the only traveler out here interested in doing any science at all.
I wish I was more familiar with the Outer Wilds. That sounds to me maybe kind of Mass Effect-y.
Final answer?
No, not Mass Effect-y enough. Outer Wilds.
That's correct. Yeah, very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Character
But
number...
you gave me a second chance, so
that's all right. Character number 3. This is an artificial intelligence character.
Which could be any of them.
Yep.
Okay.
And to be clear, all of these games have suits, and this artificial intelligence lives within your suit, and not only lives in it, but has what is called advanced situational awareness and problem solving. So whoever's in the suit can communicate directly with this character, this AI matrix.
Got it.
You know, I realized the last character I never said the name in Outer Wilds. It was Shirt.
Shirt?
Yes.
Shirt like
Chert.
Got
Or
it.
Chert, maybe. Shirt.
Shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. AI in your suit.
Situational
ASAP.
awareness.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But
Follow your gut, Chris. You're leading 5-2 right now.
I feel like I've heard the phrase advanced situational awareness, and I'm definitely most familiar with Borderlands of the 3 games. Is it that crazy lady from who talks to you in your head in Borderlands? Is it Borderlands?
It is not. It is actually Mass Effect Andromeda.
Okay.
I had to omit quite a bit. The character's name is Sam. Simulated Adaptive Matrix.
Okay.
That I feel like that would have given it away immediately because that sounds so Mass Effect-y. Sam, come on.
Yeah, well, you're probably right to admit that.
I had to get you on one. All right.
You know, I like that. I like that segment.
I do
That's
too.
good stuff.
So that completes Name the Game. And we are going to move on to a brand new segment for our listeners. Once again, I would like to remind all of you, if you hate this new segment or like it, please fill out our survey at bit.ly/CJ Tell Us. We would really, really appreciate it, and I'm going to put it in chat again.
Even if you have no feelings about the segment whatsoever and just want to fill out the survey and say, I don't care to every question, we'll take it.
Yeah, or just write Jake is fat. I'm fine with that too. So this segment is a would you rather, and that's literally it. We are going off of a website. We're going to take turns just asking each other random would you rathers and maybe a simple why would you would you rather and why. And I think we said we're going to do 3 to 5 of these each. So I will go ahead and start by asking you first, Chris, if that's all right.
No, absolutely.
All right.
And just a real quick goodbye to Rachel. Sorry you gotta go.
See you, Tubbs. Have a good night. All right.
What do we got?
Would you rather? You ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Would you rather lead a boring life from here forward or be reborn with all of your memories into a baby of the opposite sex?
Absolutely be reborn into a baby of the opposite sex.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds far more... Would I rather be bored for the rest of my life or finally get to understand how women see the world differently? That sounds like a no-brainer to me. Absolutely.
For what it's worth, 77% of people also agree with you. All right.
Well, I agree with you, 77% of people.
Next.
All right.
Oh, we're going to go back and forth?
I assumed.
Okay, that's fine with me. Let's do it.
Jake, would you rather have extreme narcolepsy or a bad case of Tourette's?
I'm going to say Tourette's because I think, especially in the gaming world, mild forms of Tourette's can be kind of funny, and I would use it to my advantage. And then I would stream myself constantly as like the Tourette's gamer and make millions of dollars, and everyone would love it. Because I'd just be playing the SpongeBob game and just randomly scream the F word, and everyone would laugh.
You know what? That's very opportunistic and a valid answer, and 51% of people agree with you.
All right. Okay. Well, Chris, would you rather, this is a very basic question, be a hawk or be a shark?
I would rather be a hawk. I generally like terrestrial life, and I could fly, and also I could fly over the water if I wanted to.
And fish are smelly anyways.
Yeah. And flying's cool.
Yeah.
And sharks can never stop swimming or they drown. Isn't that a thing? Or is that just a myth? I don't know.
I'm not
I've
sure.
been watching it for a while.
But 67% of people agree with you.
Good. You're giving me the easy questions.
I guess so.
All right. Would you rather wear only skin-tight clothing or clothes that are much too big?
I think there needs to be like an asterisk next to that. Like, would I rather do that when I was 18 or when I'm 30? Because if I was 18, I would probably pick the skinny clothes because I'm not scary looking. But now that I'm 30 and fat, I'm going to pick the baggy clothes for the sake of everyone that has to lay eyes on me.
What if it was tighter than skin tight? What if it was
like spandex?
Yeah.
Like straight, just like spandex.
Well, clothes that are much too big, 59% of people agree with you.
Nice. Okay.
You're in the majority.
I am. That's a first. All right. Chris, would you rather, if you could go back in time and sign the Declaration of Independence, would you rather sign your real name or sign using a ridiculous pseudonym like Wiener or Mike Roch?
Ooh. That's kind of tough.
It's like you look at the Declaration, you're dead. It's 300 years later. UKX signed the Declaration of Independence.
Right.
Hyrulean
I think, it would be cool to have my real name on the Declaration of Independence, but I feel like I'd have a really hard time convincing anyone that was me. They'd just be like, it's just a different, Chris Watson, that's a normal name. Don't be stupid. So it'd probably be funnier to troll the nation.
And
Yeah,
sign it Wiener.
I would
Like,
go with a ridiculous name.
very nice. Okay, so only 38% of people selected that.
Oh,
So you are in the minority, my friend.
I am a snowflake. What can I say?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Would you rather know the exact time and place of your own death or the exact time and place of death of everyone around you?
Probably my own. Because, well, do I have the power to control it at all? Because I guess theoretically, if I knew other people's exact time and death, I could go save them from death. So, like, I could become this superhero if I selected others. Now, if I can't control it, I'd rather know my own. If I can control it, I'd rather know others. Final answer.
So which one do I click?
I'm gonna just say I'm gonna think positive here and assume that
Mhm.
I have the power to alter them. You know, rescue the little kid from getting hit by the bus. So we'll go with others just for the sake and potential of being a superhero.
Sounds great. And 57% of people agree with you.
Awesome.
Or 681,144
Right.
individuals.
Let's see. How many more of these do we want to do, Chris? One more?
Um, we've only been doing this for like 5 minutes, but sure, let's just do one more. That's fine.
Okay. Would you rather lose the ability to feel emotions or be physically paralyzed?
Ooh, that sucks.
Oh, that's easy answer for me.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy for me at all. Oh no. Oh no. Fully paralyzed?
Mm-hmm. Physically paralyzed. Same thing. So I'm assuming,
Right,
neck down or something.
right. Well, I will also assume positive and assume that I can write myself a little letter saying that I am obligated to still take care of the people that I care about, even if I don't feel emotions anymore, and then I'll go with emotions.
Yep. 76% of people agree, and I am one of those. I definitely would select no emotion.
That still stinks. I mean, that would be a life without joy, but
So normal.
oh, I'm taking midlife niceness off of
Off
the
the
list of
list.
possible titles. Nah, nah. One button work. I won't give you that one. I won't give you. Choose between candy bars? No, that's not a would you rather. Okay. Would you rather have anything that you write become truth or know all truths that there are?
Know all truths that there are.
Yeah.
Yep, because I feel like if you know all truths, it allows you to navigate life, whereas the other one just allows you to create truths all the time. And that's not, when you're just creating it, you're not really living reality, whereas the other one, you're living reality.
Not to mention, it would make it really hard to write anything
I just feel
without
like
changing
I'm going to eat a
things.
pizza tonight.
Oh no, now I feel like Italian, but I can't change it. Well, 32% of people agree with you.
Wow. Interesting. Not what I expected.
I think we each got one in the minority.
Yes, we did.
Quite a few in the majority. Not surprising.
I'm going to go
Well,
ahead and be a selfish jerk and say that I won this round because I am losing by a lot. So I'm going to say it is 5-3.
I will say you won this round because you were decisive in your choice between losing your emotions or your ability to move, where I waffled for a while. So.
Got it. Speaking of waffles,
Ah, that brings us to our next segment, What You Been Eating, where we discuss food and snacks and all things edible. And in this week's edition of What You've Been Eating, we are going to be discussing family recipes. These are ancient bits of handwritten knowledge passed down through generations, or in my case, from my mom.
Mummy. All right.
Why don't you get us started?
Yes, I will go first. So, I'd like to note I do have this on paper because all good recipes are on paper. I'm not going to go through the exact amounts for each of these, but I'm going to just tell a little story around why I selected this. So it's kind of a goofy name, but this particular recipe on what you've been eating, the family edition, is my mother's hobo beans, is what we called them. And what you do is you go find a hobo on the street, you beat him up, and then cook. No, I'm just kidding. So hobo beans are actually, it's like a form of barbecue beans, right? And the way that my mom made them was just the best. She would use a variety of beans, not just like one type of bean, but a variety. So it'd be white beans, lima beans, kidney beans, and she'd buy canned only. And the general recipe would be you cook down the beans in a slow cooker for a few hours to really get them cooked up, just like with the juices that come with it. And then while that's going, you cook down some ground beef or pork, ground pork, as well as bacon, and chop up the bacon. And, like any good family recipe, it was never exactly the same. But the general concept is you got the beans cooked. Then you throw in your ground meat, your bacon, your onions, maybe a little bit of barbecue sauce, mustard, smoked or powdered, smoked paprika, all that good stuff, salt and pepper. Mix it all in, let it marinate and serenade in the lab for a few hours, take it out. Orgasmic beans all day long. And in particular, I think this was a fitting recipe because it's the family edition of what you've been eating. And Mom would always make these for our giant family get-togethers on the farm up in rural Ohio. So, yeah, that is my first one. Good old hobo beans.
I remember your mom's hobo beans. They were very similar to my mom's beans and sausage, which I'm just not gonna do that one.
Well, dang, I am sorry.
No. That's
for that, funny. Chris, we both get a point. We both
funny.
Get a point for that one. That's what I'm deeming. So it is now 6-4.
I will say, my mother's recipe did not have mustard or smoked paprika in it. But it did have chunks of real drifter in it.
Right.
None of that hobo stuff.
Got it. No ripped clothing or anything.
Yeah. So you know what? Instead, I will speak of my second recipe.
Okay.
Which is shrimp enchiladas with sweet corn sauce. It's basically what it sounds like. Take on enchiladas, but they're filled with shrimp and corn and green chilies and cilantro, and it's got kind of a sweet Tex-Mex tasting sauce to them. And yeah, I don't know. Shrimp enchiladas with sweet corn sauce. They also had hash browns in them.
Whoa.
Which I always thought was interesting. You can't really tell they're there.
Potatoes and shrimp.
Yeah.
So, were they cut up really small, or?
I mean, they're shredded hash browns, so they're
nice.
Yeah, pretty small already, just for the texture. Just
sure.
As kind of a rice replacement, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Growing up, we had lots of recipes like that were like a fairly well-known recipe, but then something was weird.
Right.
And that's this one, shrimp enchiladas.
It's fitting for your personality.
Yeah.
Just teasing.
I
So
I'm generally a human being.
just
Something's
strange.
weird.
Just something's
Yeah,
off. I can't
yeah.
pinpoint it. Okay, so I do have a question. As someone who enjoys cooking but isn't very good at it, shrimp is something that is very easily overcooked. So I'm very curious. When your mother was assembling these shrimp tacos or whatever, was that the last thing that went on? How did she cook her shrimp?
They were cooked separately. They were just cooked for 2, 3 minutes in a
Right.
pan, set aside, and then yeah, they were put in the very last before you throw those enchiladas in the oven just to toast them up. That last bit where you're melting the cheese. Everything inside is cooked already, so you're not cooking enchiladas. You're
Right.
just
Right.
melting and toasting.
Right. Did
Yeah.
she use any actual enchilada sauce? Like, canned enchilada sauce? No. Okay.
Nope, not in this one. The sauce
The corn.
was uh Green Giant. You know how they
Oh
have the
yeah.
little frozen packs of like flavor vegetable. You got broccoli and cheese
Yeah.
sauce. You got like potatoes and a garlic sauce. They have one that's corn niblets in a butter
Ooh.
sauce.
Ooh.
Use that plus green chilies, sugar, cilantro, and milk, and blend them. And that's how you get your shrimp and corn enchilada sauce.
Man, that
Weird,
sounds
right?
so good though.
They're
Yeah.
really sweet and shrimpy and cheesy
Right.
and delicious. And we had them quite frequently.
Right.
And to be perfectly honest, I've only made them one time since getting married and moving out of my parents' home so many years ago.
Gotta
And that's
continue the tradition.
yeah,
Uh,
I've got it right here. I just need to do it.
Speaking of wonderful recipes, all of our listeners, you should definitely fill out our survey because Chris and I have talked a lot about, in this particular segment, we're just talking about family recipes. But one of the things we've discussed is what if we pre-made some of these recipes and ate these foods on camera and had some extra shots set up so that those of you that are curious, it would probably be an entire podcast dedicated to just food, but we would love your feedback. If you would like to see that or anything else related, please fill out our survey. It's bit.ly/CJ tell us. We'd love to hear what you think. Okay, so for my second recipe, again, sticking with a recipe from my wonderful mother, this is a all-time favorite of mine. I wouldn't say I grew up poor. We were just really frugal. We certainly weren't wealthy or anything like that. We just grew up in rural Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
it wasn't like we didn't have food, but we weren't eating expensive food. And my mom always found ways to make cheap food tasty, like beans and, enchiladas. And so this particular recipe, again, is a classic, and it's chicken and dumplings. And I feel like in the Midwest in particular, there's just a lot of chicken and dumplings because it gets so cold. But the basic premise is my mom would always throw this together after we had other meals, right? So she used to buy like a half a chicken or quarter legs or something. And there's lots of bones and she would always make us keep those. And then she would throw them in a pot with water and basically simmer that all night and make stocks. And she would even freeze those stocks.
That's baller.
Right. So
That's
she would take,
legit.
I literally remember the Ziploc bags full of like frozen stocks. So, we would have chicken, whatever, some night. And then, a few days later or, a couple weeks later, she'd pull out the stock. And she would get the stock going in a pot. And, sometimes she would add more water. It just depends. And, flavor it with salt and pepper and all that good stuff. And so she would either use leftover chicken or buy a rotisserie chicken, one of those two, and she would shred all the chicken up, and then obviously you cook the chicken in the stock, and she'd put in peas and carrots, sometimes onion, super simplistic stuff, but it's just unbelievably flavorful. Excuse me. So that's kind of the base of the chicken and dumplings. You've got the chicken stock, all that good stuff. So next was the actual dumplings themselves, which as a kid were my absolute favorite. You get these little fluffy bombs of awesome chicken stock, just gooey yumminess. And it's the most simplistic thing in the whole world. It's literally flour, baking powder, salt, and milk. That's it. And I have these very clear memories of her using 2 spoons, and she would like kind of egg shape it and then drop it in, egg shake it, and drop it in, and she would do that until the whole top of the pot was full. And she always put a glass lid on because I like to watch sometimes as the dumplings kind of rose. I don't know if you've ever made chicken and dumplings, but they start out kind of heavy and then they fluff up, and then you just end up with this like pot full of dumplings with deliciousness underneath. And so, anyways, especially in the winter, it's that, I don't know, that late Tuesday night, school sucked, had to go through the snow both uphill both ways, and come home and Mom made chicken and dumplings. So thank you, Mom. That was awesome. I think all my siblings and my father would agree that was some dope ass chicken and dumplings.
I like that. Thank you, Mom, for the dope ass chicken and dumplings.
Yeah. Sorry, that was long-winded, but that one definitely hit home for me.
That's fantastic. I'm going to have to make chicken and dumplings sometimes. That's what, every once in a while you run into a dish in life where you're like, this is such a prevalent food, and how has this never been made in my household? And chicken and dumplings is one of those.
Right.
I'm going to steal your mom's recipe.
You should. Super easy.
Yeah, I will.
The key is not to measure anything. Or to not measure anything, yeah.
Sounds good. Well then, let's see. Since my mom's beans and sausage is not an option, I can definitely go with my personal favorite dish. Growing up.
Hit me.
You may have heard of shepherd's pie.
Oh,
It's
my mouth is watering just hearing it.
Green beans and typically mushrooms and like a gravy and
like a pork gravy typically, or is it a
honestly,
like
I
a
don't
bacon
know.
gravy?
I'm not sure because we never had shepherd's pie.
That's fair.
We had hamburger pie.
Oh, that's like a notch up. America.
Yeah.
You go to McDonald's, buy a cheeseburger, take the bun out. I'm just kidding.
Not that America. Not quite that America. No, it was very simple, layered dish.
Mm-hmm.
You had a layer of seasoned beef in a tomato sauce. In like a round casserole.
Mm-hmm.
And then a layer of cooked peas, mashed potatoes.
Feed me. Preach.
Like half-inch of cheddar on top.
Amen.
Melted to oblivion. And it was rich and indulgent and salty and beefy.
Praise Jesus.
My whole life living at home, that was all I ever wanted. If you ever asked me what I wanted to eat, it was hamburger pie.
That sounds really good.
That's one that I've made countless times.
So do you end up
moving out. Yeah.
Do you end up, I'm assuming it basically all the parts get made and then you assemble and then bake? Is that your flow typically?
Yep. You cook up that beef, add your sauce, put it in, cook the peas, put it in. You just layer it up, make mashed potatoes, cover it with cheese, and bake it. Yeah, for like 40 minutes.
Right. So that cheese gets all gooey and yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, and then the trick is when you're serving yourself, you got to scoop it out, but then put it on your plate upside down.
Really? So
Interesting.
Okay.
With that layer of like toasty mashed potato cheese.
Oh.
When you're done eating through everything else, because that's the best part, is that toasty cheese. So you want to save that for last, so you put that on bottom.
It's almost like we both grew up in a cold area of the country or something.
Toasty, warm,
hearty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Oh man.
Hamburger pie. That's what you called it?
Hamburger pie. Yes, it was a shepherd's pie, but without the mushrooms and with like a tomato sauce instead of a gravy. Yeah. And with peas instead of. I think green beans is the normal one. I've also heard corn.
I feel like all of those could work. Green beans, peas, corn. It kind of all goes.
Exactly.
I know we're running a little bit over, Chris, but there's just one other memory. This is not a recipe, but I just wanted to bring up because it's so ridiculous. This is very short. my grandfather had a very interesting eating habit that I have to share just because it's so silly. And my brother and sister and I used to laugh at it all the time. My papa on my dad's side, so my dad's dad, loved ice cream, just loved ice cream. But he ate it in the most bizarre way ever. He would get a couple scoops and he would microwave it until it was soupy and then eat it with a spoon. And I know that sounds so weird, and we all thought it was weird when we were kids. And man, did he just loved that. So that was my last random little weird family fun fact.
He was also a fan of warm orange soda, wasn't he?
That's right. He would buy Diet Sunkist and microwave it.
Mm-hmm.
So strange.
To each their own. Your papa was an amazing man.
Yes, he was. Very amazing. All right, Chris. Anything else you would like to add for the What You've Been Eating segment?
I think that just about wraps it up.
Okay. I did end up giving us both a point for that one, so we're going to call that a tie.
All right.
We are going to go into our final segment, our lightning round. Thank you, all of you, for hanging in with us. This will be our last segment. Just to give a summary, right now the score of the podcast is Chris is at 6 and I am at 4. So Chris is winning. It all comes down to the lightning round. So without any further...
How do we score that?
I'll decide.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, so we're going to do 2 rounds of the lightning round. This is, I think, maybe the only segment that has been in every podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the only one. So this is we always felt like this was a fun way to just, I don't know, be goofy and have fun with the end of the podcast. So, all right, round number 1, sir. I believe this is 13 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Is it grammatically proper to capitalize the names of seasons?
No.
I have no idea. That sounds right. Would you rather come face to face with a miniature hippopotamus or a giant cockroach? Both are in a bad mood.
A miniature hippopotamus.
For sure.
A wet snuggle buddy.
You know, I'm going to buy you a hippopotamus stuffed animal. That sounds awesome.
Okay.
Define the word Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist. That's... Don't call me stupid. Isn't that some sort of like overwhelmingly popular or effective movement?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Or is that some sort of governing force? It's one of those things, I think.
I'll take that. That's a good answer. When was the last time you stayed up past 4 in the morning?
2006.
I was gonna say. I feel like no. Back in the day, when we had LAN parties. We pulled that all the time.
You're correct.
That's
You're
probably
absolutely correct.
But before your son
was the last time that I stayed up till 4 in the morning every night for a week.
Okay. What is the lamest dessert that people try to pass off as a dessert?
Flan.
Okay, I do like that. When you fly on a plane, do you wear a neck pillow?
No.
Okay. Do you like Disneyland?
Been there once forever ago. Not really. It was tiny, crappy Disney World.
Yep. I agree 100%. And I've never even been there. How would you rate your karaoke skills on a scale of 1 to Mariah Carey?
You know, I've never done it, but I'd say I'm trying to think of something clever. I've got nothing.
That's fair.
6.
What is the name of the street you grew up on, if you're comfortable answering that?
What portion of my life? I probably spent the bulk of my life on a street called Sunnybrook.
Yeah, I loved that road. That's the road. Last week they were talking about that I went 110 miles an hour on.
Yeah. Oh, during that straightaway.
The straightaway, yeah.
Course.
It was so bumpy, but right by the golf course, it evened out a little bit. I've also broken down there. Yeah. This is an interesting question. Are your grandparents mildly rude? Mildly.
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite clothing brand?
Cheap.
Good answer. Black
I'm
beans.
actually just got some nice stuff recently.
That's true. As we get older, our gentleman appearance gets more refined. Black beans are refried beans in your burrito.
Ooh, black beans if I can get them.
Oh
I
yeah,
like both.
totally agreed. Black beans are. Sorry, I shouldn't be answering this. Using an Elmo voice, tell me how you like your coffee. You do not have to do that one. I can't even do an Elmo voice. Wait, do it again. It didn't come through. One more time.
I said full of sugar.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to get a clap for that one.
Oh, boy. Oh, that was the last one, wasn't it? Okay. Well, that was fun. All right, round one for you then. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Are tomatoes a fruit or a vegetable?
I think we already did this one, Chris.
Did we? I don't
Did
think
we?
we
No? Okay, never mind.
No. I don't think so.
Okay, my bad. The answer is vegetable. I know technically I think they're a fruit, but to me they're a vegetable.
Yeah.
I think
You
they're
don't fuck them
technically
like fruit, do you?
Yeah, no.
Who's your favorite Harry Potter character?
I mean, Ron Weasley.
Fair. Have you ever stolen anything?
Not intentionally. Sincerely, I've never intentionally
I
stolen
believe it.
anything.
I believe it. I believe this man has never stolen anything.
And to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever mistakenly stolen something, but I'm kind of covering my butt in case like I was a little kid or something, and I just like, I don't know. I have no memory of doing that, but I have never stolen anything.
Do you think anyone considers you a hipster?
Probably. Well, maybe not. I've had a little bit for a while there. I grew the mustache out and was curling it. That was pretty hipster-esque. So, prior to that, probably not.
All right. What's the sound you would make if you were freezing cold?
I'm so cold. I'm shivering.
Very descriptive. I felt like I was there.
SpongeBob reference.
Oh, I remember that. When eating a formal meal with multiple forks, do you start from the outside or inside?
Inside.
Okay. What's your favorite martial art?
Kung Fu.
Good answer. LA or New York?
Oh, I think I just vomited. Neither. I've never been to LA. I'm assuming we're talking about the city, New York. I've been to New York City multiple times. No joke. My least favorite place I've ever been. Not even close. It is literally, for my personality, oppressive. So honestly, I'd probably have to pick LA just because there are parts of LA that are more spread out. Whereas in New York, it's literally concrete everywhere, oppressive, soul crushing. I don't ever want to go again.
That's fair. Goodbye, New York viewers.
No, I love you. I have some really good friends. I can't. I'm sorry.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish?
Sour Patch Kids all the way. The sugar.
That one does sound familiar. That question does sound familiar. Scale of 1 to 10. How good are you at trivia?
General trivia, 1. Bible trivia, 8.
Okay. Super Mario Brothers or Zelda?
Oh, gosh. I have more experience playing Mario, but I have to pick Zelda because there's such an enriching story, and boy, do I need to buy a freaking Nintendo Switch already so I can play the new one.
You know what? You mail me your index and I'll mail you my Switch.
Okay. Yeah.
If Tupac appeared before you right now, what's the first thing you would ask him?
Why does his name sound like a type of bird? It always made me think of toucan.
The cry of the crested Tupac.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay.
Oh, Final question: what temperature do you like your thermostat at?
Okay, so that is a deceiving question because it so depends on where you're at in the world and what your insulation and environment is like. So, I live in Texas, so it gets really hot. When I was in an apartment, I had to keep it at 70 or 71 to stay within reasonable. In my current house, 76, and I swear it's colder than the other one. Now part of that's because I have some big trees around me and properly insulated property. So at least right now, when it's 100 degrees out, 76. When it cools down, it'll probably drop down to like 73. In Ohio, I remember keeping it at like 70 or 69. And I was constantly asking my dad when I lived with my parents to take it down even lower.
All right.
Okay, cool. So round number 2 for Chris. As part of our lightning round. Just a reminder, Chris is winning 6-4 currently in our game. So it all comes down to these last 2 rounds. All right, Sir Chris. Question number 1. Do you own a bicycle?
I own 2 bicycles, a standard and an electric.
Oh, very cool. How hipster of you. I'm just kidding. Do you find... Oh, this is a trick question. Do you find handlebar mustaches to be handsome?
I find handsome men to be handsome, and handlebar mustaches are just an accessory.
Very good answer. What is wind?
Moving air.
That's about right. Okay. Which animal adds more joy to the world? Squirrels or llamas?
Squirrels. Llamas are pretty cool, but there's squirrels everywhere, and they are just...
Well, and I feel like, again, sorry, I'm butting in. Squirrels are so much more eaten than llamas, and all the animals that get joy from eating them is more than the amount of joy that llamas give anyone else. I'm just saying. Okay, next question.
And they plant trees, so
they're saving us for cutting them all down. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy garlic? There's only one answer to this, Chris.
28.
Exactly. Garlic is...
If the recipe says 1 clove, I put in 6.
Minimum. This is a pretty open-ended question. Who inspires you?
My go-to answer, sorry if it's overdone, late great author Douglas Adams. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy changed my life in high school, which I feel like it's done for a lot of people.
Yeah, super influential. Good choice. Next question. If you could push a button and make everyone in the world 7% happier, but it would also place a worldwide ban on all hairstyling products, would you push it?
I don't know how you could quantify happiness, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, suddenly we're all on the same playing field as you, Chris. Interesting. If there was a hair in your soup at a restaurant, would you return it?
At a restaurant, yes. If it was takeout, I'd probably just suck it up and toss it out, or maybe eat it anyways if I'm feeling particularly pathetic.
Okay. What's the most boring thing ever? So open-ended, these ones.
Probably dead air on a podcast.
I don't know. I think that's pretty entertaining as a regular podcast watcher. Next question. Tell me what you would like to do on weekends in a Valley Girl voice. Okay, I'm ready.
Like, I'd totally like to sleep for once.
I'm so glad you're getting the voice ones, because you're the one who sings and does all the voice acting. I can't do that. I'm just the guy who presses buttons. Very good. What size bed do you prefer? Someone clip that, please. Someone clip that on Twitch.
What size bed? Now that I'm married, it doesn't matter. Whichever one doesn't hurt my spine.
Okay. What's your middle name? That's very personal.
You'll never know.
Okay,
You already know my first and last name. I can't give you my middle.
that's
Can't
fair.
do it.
How do you feel about cranberries?
Um, the same way I feel about most produce. Apathetic.
Got it. Okay, that was your last question, sir.
All right. All right, final round
Final
from you,
round.
Mr. Jake. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
I know there's lots of preparation that goes into it. Are you sure you're ready?
Yes.
Okay. If you could buy any type of food right now, what would you buy?
HEB sushi. HEB
One of
sushi
these
is
days.
really good.
I'm gonna have to try real sushi someday.
I love
Just-
sushi. It's so good. I hated it for a long time because I never gave it the time of day. Once I did, it's so good, Chris. There are still some that I think are just too weird, but the regular sushi's awesome.
Next time I'm down there, show me the way.
I will. This is the way.
What color is your toothbrush?
White and blue, electric toothbrush, orbital.
Mine is also white and blue, but not electric. If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
Eagle, because eagles are just so like distinguished somehow, and they're very. I don't know. I like eagles and owls. They kind of stick to themselves, and they fly, and they don't have a whole lot of predators, and I just think they're fascinating. Both eagles and owls in particular. Dude, I saw an owl down here in Texas while I was in the drive-thru for Taco Bell. No joke. Its wingspan was like 4.5 feet. It was crazy. I've never seen anything that big in my life. And it was just like chilling there and then flew off. Just massive owl.
Man, oh man.
And his name was Clint, and I put a necklace on him with the eyeballs of our enemies.
Yes, and then doused him with paint and set him on fire, and
Inside
it was a
joke.
whole... All right. What is one of the things you would put on your bucket list?
I would love to visit or do a tour of Europe with someone who actually knows what they're doing. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but like I want a tour of Europe focused on food. I want to go to the mom and pop shops. I want to go to the small places and maybe some famous places too. But I want to go to that mom's house in France that has been making her baguettes the same way for 6 generations and try that rhubarb pastry or whatever. I want to go to Italy and, that family has been making their pasta sauce. That's literally one of my dreams for sure. With someone who knows what they're doing. So I don't have to think about it. I don't even want to think about where I go or what I do next.
Just enjoy the ride. That sounds great. All right, Jake, what's your favorite superhero and why?
The Tick. Because he's funny and he is a solely pure good superhero. There's none of this like in between. He is like full good. What's the D&D whole what am I thinking?
Lawful good?
Yeah, he's lawful good. And he's also
Yeah.
funny and just ridiculous. So I like the Tick.
He's also got an intelligence score of 4.
Yes. But but see, look, the payoff is he's got Arthur, so he might not have it himself, but his main sidekick does. So he's got it all covered. I'll be dumb, you can be smart. We already know that.
Totally natural, organic transition. Hit up YouTube, search for Pediatrician, check out the Tick theme. Not composed by us, covered by us.
Yes.
With our side project, band, Pediatrician. It's good. It's our most viewed video out of 2, so...
And it fills your musical prescription.
It does. Pediatrician fills your musical prescription. Where were we? Who do you admire the most? This next set of lightning round questions is less lightning.
Yeah, these are much more open-ended. Okay. Do they have to be real or not real, or does that really matter? Okay, I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to say Patrick Henry. I don't know that he is the most, but he's one of my top ones. He is one of the founding fathers. He was an anti-federalist. I tend to agree with those kinds of lines of thinking. Patrick Henry.
Patrick Henry, right on. What is your favorite summer activity?
Staying up until 4 in the morning, playing video games, and getting Taco Bell with my friends.
Excellent. If a movie was made of your life, what genre would it be? Who would play you?
Um, is there a genre for sad? Maybe drama, I guess. I don't know what is like a just what is the category for sad.
French?
What?
French?
I don't know. Some sort of sad genre, and who would play me? I don't know that there's any actors that look like me. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know actors well enough.
That's all right. Let's just say, oh, Ryan Gosling.
Okay,
So,
he is a good actor.
yeah. Okay, if you could be any flavor of ice cream, what ice cream flavor would you be and why?
Chocolate Mousse Tracks because it's freaking delicious.
Excellent. Who is your favorite cartoon character? And you guessed it, why?
I feel like I already answered this with the superhero one, but I'll pick something else. Man, favorite cartoon character. Probably Squidward Tentacles from SpongeBob. He is
That's a great choice.
he's just absolute comedic genius. I mean, there's just I grew up with SpongeBob. I was already a little older, but he's just brilliant.
That's excellent choice. Final question. Are you or no? I skipped one. I skipped several. I'm sorry. If you could go anywhere in the world.
Let's skip this one. We already did this one.
Yeah, we already did this one. Europe. What is your dream job?
Making sound and audio for video games.
Sounds great. Are you a morning or night person?
Actually, both. So what happens is I do really well throughout the week, getting up, start the day, my actual work day at 7:30. On the weekends, I stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning. My natural schedule is staying up late at night.
Darn tootin'. Well, that's it.
That is it. Okay, so
Last question.
this went quite long, but I think it was well worth it, Chris. This has been an awesome podcast. Would you like to make any predictions on who won here? Who won our first game?
Well, knowing you, even if you were ahead 10-2, you would still somehow make me the winner.
So,
But I'm not gonna say you.
good guess. For finally, you were wrong for once tonight. Chris is our official winner with 7 points, and I had 4. Very, very good. It was a nice competition, Chris, but let's be honest. Ever since the spot the fake quote segment number 2, you took the lead, and I couldn't come in clutch. I'm like LeBron James. I can't make the shots at the end of the game. I'm not a salty Cavs fan or anything.
Closing on a headshot.
Yeah.
All right.
It's my natural state, remember? We already established that.
Yeah. Well, hope you all enjoyed the new, slightly more competitive format. I know I sure did.
Yes, and if you didn't enjoy it, or you did enjoy it, we would
You'll never
recommend.
guess what you do.
Yeah, we'll never know unless you tell us. And so, Chris, how can people tell us if they hated this or enjoyed it?
Well, you can open up what's called an internet browser. There's several options to choose from. I personally use Chrome. Go up to that address bar at the top and type in bit.ly/CJ tell us. Or, click on the link in the chat. That's probably easier. It's right there.
Right there. Can't miss it. Please fill it out. We really appreciate any of your feedback. We really appreciate all of you listening and hanging in with us. We will be doing this again next week. Is that right? Same time, same place?
That's the plan, Batman.
Awesome. And hopefully, here in the next week or so, we'll finally have a name for the podcast. Otherwise, we're going to get to episode 27 without a name. So we'll work our way there.
You know it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And until next time, hope you all have a good day.
Take care, everyone. See ya.